This is the Digital Trust Podcast. In every episode, we strive to bring support to those of you who serve on the front lines and in the trenches of data and technology. We endeavor to bring understanding to the under-resourced and underappreciated, help remove your stress, and provide relief to your pain. Welcome to the Digital Trust Podcast. Sit down with us as we give you hard-hitting advisory conversations to help you build digital trust with your stakeholders and clients, and actionable takeaways to help you become a digitally trustworthy organization.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Trust Podcast. I am your host, Christian Redshaw, along with my co-host, Zach Eikenberry, and we have with us an esteemed guest all the way from the other side of the continent and the country. It's David Shipley. David is the CEO and Field CISO of Beauceron Security. I could give a long intro, but we just don't have time. David, welcome to the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for avoiding making me blush.
Awesome. So I want to find out about you. I want to find out about your company for those that are not familiar with you already. Beauceron Security, what's the origin story? How did it get its name, Beauceron?
So we started at the University of New Brunswick, where I was effectively the CISO, and building a security awareness program there turned out to be way harder than I imagined. Turned out that professors don't actually want to learn things all the time. And we discovered that the challenge isn't just disseminating information, it's motivating people to want to accept the information, to act on the information, to actually tangibly change behavior. And the key issue is that when you successfully harness both sides of awareness, knowledge and vigilance, you help people move from being the passive targets of cybercriminal, the sheep, into the active defenders, or the sheepdogs, as an analogy. And when we did that at the University of New Brunswick, we dropped phishing click rates from more than 35% to less than 5% on average across campaigns. Even more impactfully, the number of people who spotted and were motivated to report suspicious emails skyrocketed. And that's where we started to see the impact of our program.
Right. Awesome. And you sort of alluded to this, but why does cybersecurity awareness training actually matter? What is the actual purpose of it, in your opinion, David?
Well, we forget that the word cyber actually means, at its core, when you look at the Greek word, it means people, technology, and control. For 30 plus years, we have tried to use technology to control people, and we have failed. The reality is, done well, people in control of technology not only are an asset for an organization, they're less risky. And notice the order of operations I put in. The greatest benefit of enabling people, the work that we do, isn't just they didn't click on a fish. They're making good choices about when, how to use technology, and they're better at their jobs. They're delivering more value in their healthcare organization. They're doing other things, and you're not having incidents.
Yeah, that sounds like you have a different point of view on how humans interact in an organization than many other security providers, right? Where they see people as their risk, not as their asset, right? And so they work very hard to marginalize, mitigate people. So maybe you could tell me some of maybe elaborate on your point of view when it comes to the anthropology, or what does it mean to be a human when it comes to these trainings?
Absolutely. So one of the things, first of all, my first tech job was building PCs back, yes, kids, before you bought it from Dell, you could make it yourself at my local neighborhood shop. And my second job was working the help desk as a student at the university. And it's really easy to fall into cognitive traps that people are stupid, that it's the problem exists between the keyboard and the chair, or PEBCAC. And those always existed in our industry. And that was always a bias we had to be aware of. It's getting worse. It's becoming misanthropic, a word that I didn't even know existed until this past year when I was reading about this teenager radicalized by a group called the Calm who hates other human beings. And I realized, okay, wait a second here. What is this word all about? And then I started to see symptoms of it in other aspects of society. You see it with tech oligarchs who are telling us we're going to mass replace people from jobs and we don't need to pay employees anymore. That's misanthropic. And we see it even in some of the ways that some vendors are talking about people. Remember, the people in an organization, not its tech stack, not its brand logos, the people are the enduring source of competitive advantage or ability to execute on its mission, whether profit or nonprofit. People are wonderful. Yes, we're packed with all kinds of vulnerabilities. Those vulnerabilities, by the way, at one point were features. They helped us survive evolution, and they still are an asset. You can't conquer human error because to conquer human error would just strip every single thing of humanity that makes us creative, that makes us risk takers, that makes us want to strive to do more. So the question is not sacrificing humanity, being humane to humans.
Yeah, so that's a great point. When you're working with organizations, are there any things that they say or do that are red flags to say, whoa, hold on, they're not treating their people very well and they're not understanding?
Yeah, so the first red flag is there are still organizations that have walls of shame. Here's all the people I got with my phishing test. Don't do that. We know from Dr. David Rock's work in neuro leadership, the SCARF model, that that kind of loss in status actually triggers the same response in the brain as physical pain. Don't do that. What you should have, walls of fame. Here are the 10 people that caught the most simulated or real fishes this year. We had a national telecommunications customer have a president's club for cybersecurity awareness, where the people that did their training fast, well, and caught all their fishes got recognition from a senior leader. What did that do? It lit up the parts of their brain to go, this is a rewarding experience. Do more of that, less shame. Firing people after clicking on 3 simulations in a row. Really bad idea. By the way, if you're Canadian, don't do this without seriously consulting your HR department and legal, and they're going to tell you some things. Because, by the way, you're probably not tracking real clicks, and anybody with a half-decent lawyer who's going to look at procedural fairness is going to nail you to the wall, potentially. Not a lawyer, talk to one, but don't do that. And all you'll do if people catch wind that failure is recognized in that mode is they're not going to tell you that they screwed up in a real incident, and that's going to burn you. Verizon in 2024 published this amazing metric. It was called the post-click report rate. The percentage of people after clicking who tell you. In 2024, it was 1 in 10. We checked our data set of 1 million people. It was 1 in 10 on average. We changed some things to encourage people to report. We got it up to 26% on average. In leading organizations, it's north of 80%. It's an indicator of psychological safety. The biggest thing is that we are not seeking perfection from the human. We want to reduce the probability they're going to fall victim to social engineering for a lot of reasons, including the fact that it can be very traumatic. But the second goal is that if you make a mistake, tell somebody about it. You know, to click is human, to report is divine.
I love that one.
So you're looking to drive up reporting, essentially, and elevate the human. I heard a rumor, David, that there was a video floating around in the awareness space comparing humans in an office environment to animals in the jungle. What was that video, if you can indeed comment on that, and what was your reaction or your feelings about it?
I really hope that the company responsible for this does not launch this as a major campaign. Thus far, it has a couple hundred views last time I checked on their YouTube channel. It's massively problematic in a number of areas, and I'm specifically not naming the company because I really think this is a mistake they should learn from. And there are good people associated with that company who probably would be mortified if they were aware of this video. It shouldn't exist. It's one thing to have a clever analogy, the Beauceron analogy of going from the sheep to the sheepdog as a metaphor for the effect we're seeking to do. It's another to have a David Attenborough style voiceover walking through when people are popping on the screen making animal sounds and all kinds of other things with it. It's beyond the pale. And it's condescending and it's misanthropic. And I hope that the furthest it ever goes is people like me calling it out right now. Stop. Don't do this.
Yeah, I appreciate that point of view. I share your point of view as well, David. What do you wish that the leadership groups of organizations would think and do when it comes to awareness training? What role do you think that the top leaders in an organization should play?
It's about culture. It's not about training courses. It's not about click rates. It's what's the kind of culture that you want to have. How can you measure that? You can't measure it. You can't manage it. In fact, you can. You have to understand that there's three elements we really want to study. Knowledge, do people know the right thing? Attitudes, are they willing to learn the right thing and are they willing to actually do it? Or do they have beliefs? Like, for example, 1 in 3 employees across almost 200,000 people we studied for 5 years, 1 in 3 think the technology tools provided by their organization completely protect them. When people believe that, they click on phishing 80 to 140% more. So you have to tackle some of those beliefs. No, tech tools are good, but you still have to be a responsible driver. Yes, senior leaders and managers care about this. Yes, you matter in protecting us. When they think that they matter, they click much less, double digit less, and they report far more. And lastly, are we giving people meaningful feedback? Number one missed opportunity today, and one that we've really seen the difference. You train people to report, they get their recognition for simulations, they report something real, and crickets. When you give people meaningful feedback about non-simulated emails, report rates increase up to 60%. It's crazy. Why? Because the button is no longer the in a tech office space, is it good for the company banner? It's the Staples that was easy button. Not sure what this is? Bing, get some feedback. It's great. Close feedback loops, build strong cultures, lead from the front.
We're going to end on that note, David. That's perfect. Thank you so much for being our guest on the show today. And Zach and I will be right back to wrap things up.
Awesome. Thank you, David. That was David Shipley.
Power packed.
Power packed. Man, I took a lot away from it. I appreciate a seasoned security practitioner who is adamant that people matter in an organization.
I think we have the same takeaway.
Yeah.
He said, we care, you matter. Those are the two leadership messages that the tone from the top needs to set, and that people are your competitive advantage. So we can't forget that.
Yeah, I think it's far too easy for a security team to view their colleagues as the biggest disruption to their day. Our organization would be secure and compliant and everything would be great if I didn't have to deal with people. And it's actually reversed.
I think the folks at Echelon Front would tell us that every problem is a leadership problem. So I think that's what we've identified here with the awareness training space. We have to set a good tone from the top.
That's right. So
David does that very well.
And David is also a journalist on another platform. So hunt him down, follow him. He's definitely worth
He's
a
crushing
follow.
it out there. We want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us at home. To our viewers and listeners, thanks for being part of the conversation, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us today on the Digital Trust Podcast. If you found this conversation helpful, please share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter, please click the link in the description to subscribe. And to put your mind at ease, our newsletter will include episode summaries with key points and actionable takeaways, plus a heads up on the upcoming episode guests. Rest assured, it won't be a spammy sales message, and we will never sell or share your information. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.